7 presses the record button. So again, let's reintroduce living
Let's
like
do that.
And I was kind of want to tease this. I feel like the kind of broadcast journalism major, and I was like, man, and I thought about that. I was like, that's probably maybe the richest person I've interviewed since I was interviewing those Dallas Cowboys. And I almost kind of started getting tingly and sweating a little bit. Like, oh no, this dude's a monster. But no, dude, thank you so much for coming here and
That's
doing
an
this
honor to
today,
be here.
giving you the time and chat. So let's get into it. Didn't see the first one that you went in with Deck. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into stock trading? What age were you? And of course, tell us how old you are now, because I know, but maybe some traders don't know. But tell us how young you were when you got into stock trading. Tell us how old you are now, and just that little journey of how it all came about into where you are now.
So I'll keep it, quite simple because there's not too much. But I was 13 and a half, and my dad had started a new restaurant here in Florida as a first business year. And this trader here, I don't know if he was a hedge fund trader, but he had made his first $1 million. Sorry, my nose is kind of stuffy, so But he
You're
had
good.
made his
We
first
talked about
million.
that, and they kind of figured out what was going on there. So
Okay, that's good. That's good. So he had made his first million, and then my dad told me hey, you should start researching this. A lot of people get rich, and it's a hard process, but once you learn it, he said I could really succeed in it. I had to have the mindset for it. So at first, as I say the story, I hopped in on Timothy Sykes and that big whole thing. I don't want to get too much into there, but
we
I
know about
hopped
the
on
Sykes
that.
story. I think
Oh
I
yeah,
would like 20 or 30% in chat. I bet started at Sykes. I'd love to put that little chat poll. How many of us started over at the Timothy Sykes terrible where we should not have started area? But yeah, he's
I
just
think I have a picture of it with him. I have a picture with him too, just to make it even better.
dude. You need to take a picture one day. Like, hey, who's made more money now?
That's funny. I love that. But yeah, so yeah, I did went through Sykes Mess a little bit, and then straight up to YouTube. A lot of great stuff on YouTube and Twitter. I still follow some of the people that I used to follow back then on Twitter and learning from there. And then actually, my dad was the guy that came across Deck. He told me about how he saw Deck. I think it was like a YouTube video. He saw Deck, and he told me that he would pay the course for me just so I can learn. He said he would like help me out here, so that's what he did. And then I started learning from Deck on YouTube, and then sim trading. He opened up the first brokerage, which was E-Trade. He opened it up and under his name and everything, and said, "Work on sim here. I'd like to see how you would do on sim. I want to make sure you're understanding."
So you
And
did
then,
paper trade it to start with.
very little. It was like a couple months, yes, but very little.
Hey, at least
Because
we can add you to the list, though. Hey, when we
yes, you
preach it.
can. Yes, you can. It's because my dad, he pushed this mindset in on me that paper trading is good, but he said you don't get those real emotions. That's what he was saying. Because he's saying that he was explaining to me, because you're not trading with real money. He was saying, I'd rather you trade small with real money to know how to. Because before this, my dad, he never really traded, but he was like, those wannabe traders type of guys. They'll put money into account, buy it
Right,
when it gets
right,
good
right, right, right,
news and
right.
stuff. So he understood a little bit about it. But so yeah, I started there paper trading a little bit, and then after a while, we pulled out of my college fund, which was going to be my college fund, which was 30,000, and then I would start from there. I was trading small, and since I was still in high school, through my whole first year, I ended up the year minus $6,000.
That's not bad. I mean, you look, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's not. But I love the thought process, which I tell every trader when I do my sessions. If you go live, which you did, if you want to paper trade for just a short, because you don't get that emotional effect. Totally understand. But
yeah,
when you go
exactly.
live, just go small. You will
Yeah,
get there. Trust me. But just go small, and that way you don't kill your account.
exactly. And I started like this. This is what I would do: 100 shares for a couple weeks, and then I'd bump it up 250 shares for a couple weeks, and 500 shares, and I'd just play with it. And let's say I had a bad day or a bad week, I'd pop it back down. And I just
Right.
fluctuate with the
Right. Yep.
shares level of how I felt I was doing when trading. And then so after that, second year of trading came around, and then I was trading a little better. I took some days off school, so it was still there. And what is I see AD trader here. So yeah, I had minus the 6K. I was with 24K, so I was under PDT, but that didn't affect me too much since I had school. So then after that, the next year came around. My dad was a little more pushy on the stocks, so he let me miss school a couple of days of the week, or even miss school for a week just to focus. And I was able to bring it up there over PDT and up to around that almost 50,000 mark. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like 46 something. And
That's
then,
nice.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I tell a lot of traders, everyone's gonna be different. I mean, it took me, and that's the thing too. Starting over the PDT was very crucial, helps you out a lot. Versus a lot of traders that I tell them, you start with like me, 3 to 5K. It's gonna take you a minute to get to
oh yeah,
it's gonna take a minute. Even if you do start over the PDT, I'm telling you, it's just every trader's different. It may take you 6 months, may take you 2 years. It's just all about what your brain mindset, how much time you put in. Everyone's a little bit different. I mean, we all get cut the same cut. Do you think we all heal at the same rate? No, we're all a little different, and that's what I try to tell most people.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, I'm just lucky that he trusted me and took out of what was supposed to go to college and put into my trading account in there. And like I said, after that, I hit almost 50K on the year on my second year trading live. And then on my third year, that's when things started to pick up, and I made 150,000 that year. And
Third
then
year, third year.
third year, yes.
And that's me. I made 100K in my third year. So there we
See, yeah, that's how it works. And then fourth year, which was last year, that's when the big numbers came in there, and then that's when I broke it because at that time, first couple days of the month, I was trading, and then I got a tick in my head. I'm like, no, I've been shooting for small goals. Let's shoot for something huge here. And then that's when I just started, I started going crazy. I started playing with more size. I started, you know, started because most people base their risk off, let's say their time frame chart, like the 3 minute. At that time, I was starting to base my risk off the daily chart. So my stop loss would be based off the daily chart.
That's nice.
And
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I just love how, and that's what we'll get into more because
of course, yeah.
How we kind of see things a lot similar, very similar, and that's why I can't wait to get into more of this and see. I'm like, man, okay, I'm getting there because like I'm like I could be like your dad essentially, but I feel like you were like 3 years ahead of me, or whatever it might be. So that's why I'm like. So that's why, like you said, when you made, I mean, it was just over 100K. I made my third year, but as soon as you said that, that's why I love the relations. So relations at other traders, relations for me. I mean, that's why I love getting you guys on. You're like, oh, okay, you feel like as if sometimes with a lot of traders, you're not doing as well as you should be, or you could be doing better. But then you realize, hey, I am doing good. I just need to keep pushing forward. I am going to get even better and do better, over time. But traders it's a hard game early on because the mental essentially hurdles it seems like for a lot of traders to get over.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so continuing on here, but yeah, you're right. What I would say is my dad, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have done as good as I have because he was really motivating me and telling me about risk, how, he's kind of harsh too. So he'd be like, you're not going to be anything if you don't want to take the risk and stuff. So,
right,
that really woke me up as well. But yeah, like I was saying here, that's when I had that big break. And then I was like, let's start playing with more size. Let's start being more patient and really trying to catch us close to the top. So I was trading more what I've learned from now is front side and backside trading. At first I was trading a lot more front side and then stop out. And then I'd catch the backside. And then I had like a flick, in those first couple of days of the year that I said of last year, where I was like, okay, let's stop doing that. Let's start waiting for the stock to really just stop this momentum bull run. And then let's really try and catch it either right at the top or when we start getting to the backside, because the backside's where we should be. That's where it's just big drops, small pullbacks, big drops. And started playing with the big size. And that's when I really started growing the account. And, a lot of big losses came, but I kept trying to keep them as small as possible, but a lot of huge wins came as well.
Right, exactly. That's what's going to happen to me. I think about that early on. Like say if you had your big wins, when you say you were 1,000, 2,000 shares in, you got $1,000 win. You're going, that was kind of like a $500, you'd get a $500 or $600 loss. You're like, whoa, or so, you get my point. So now it's a $100,000 win, but every once in a while you're going to have a $50,000 loss because you're playing with more size. So.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's like, it was just like that for the rest of the year. And then DWC came along, and that one was like my biggest win of the year. And I was like, holy crap. It's like, wow. It is just shows you that something else I learned here a lot is, waking up early really matters in trading, I say a lot. Because on my first, couple of years, I was really just waking up 8:30, 8 o'clock. And then now I'm starting to focus on, you got to be up by 7 or even earlier than that. You want to get those locates. You want to really know that what has the potential of the day. And, last year I also did get lucky on a DWAC. I see a question here. I had to say it. I think it was 256 or 254, something like that. And 1,000. And then I am mostly shorting, but I do also go long because there's a lot of stocks that, you can go long. And then when the momentum dies out, when it's time to reverse it, you can reverse it. So why not play both ways and make double the money, which is what I had done with DWAC there. But yeah, after that, I closed off the year with the profits there, and I decided, when I turned 18, I was still under my dad's name for a while, and then
Stop it already. When I turned 18.
and then I was done. And then I was done. I was done. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time, because I had the idea of like I wanted to start helping people instead of staying anonymous for that long. And then that's when the interview came out, and I told Dak, and we talked and everything.
Love it.
What broker?
I was gonna say, and so
I asked a lot of questions.
you're good. Yeah. Anytime you see questions, trust me, you go right on over there. Real quickly though, have you graduated high school yet?
So that's a big question. I've never told anyone that, but the real answer to that is I never did graduate, because yeah, as bad as it sounds,
Oh, you're good. You can graduate whenever you want. That's what I was asking, because I was like, hold on, is he graduating yet? Because you haven't mentioned that. I'm like, hell, he's making so much money, so I'm really maybe worried about. You know what I mean? Because hey, you're a smart little cookie. I'm sure you're probably making all
Thank
these
you
anyway.
very
But yeah,
much.
I'm not too worried about it. I just was wondering, because he even finished yet? Because I don't even know if you were even. When would you graduate? When were you like? Was it supposed to be this May, or when was it?
It was supposed to be last year, so
Okay, oh, that's awesome.
I was
Dude,
going
that
to.
is
I was
awesome.
so close too.
Because I know Deck to ask you. That's one of the questions I asked. If you're going to college, I'm like, is this kid going to Deck? That is a terrible question to ask. This kid going to college? He go buy college. He's going to donate to college. Is what he's going to do. He's going to say, open up a trading sector. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't graduate. But I plan to. Maybe it makes my mom happy. For her, she just really wants me to graduate, so I
Dude,
might just
trust
go
me,
over there and finish
I
it
know.
up.
You're the only son?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I was for a while, but it's like since I was her first son, her goal was, high school, college, and then go from there. But I've kind of changed her mind now with the little ones, because I do have a little brother and two little
Awesome. Well,
sisters.
good,
So that she's
good,
more
good. Yeah.
lenient, but she still wants me to graduate.
I was gonna say, regardless as how moms are, I know my mom right now, she'd be saying the same thing. Like, she'd be peeking over the shoulder. Now, Matthew, let me tell you right now, you go get
That is true. That is true.
So one last question before you can get to dive in. What's written on that wall back there, Mr. Smarty Pants? What do you got going on back there? Me and the broadcast journalism major and all the stuff I've done in the past, I always have questions. So what do you got? Is it stuff for stock trading, or is it?
That's my whiteboard. I didn't think you'd see that, actually.
It just comes back to the whole sports analyst in me, and I kind of see stuff, and so I've got to analyze, and I'm like, so what is this back here?
So you can't see it from here, but I have my goals for the year, which is I have a small account challenge that I started. Not a small account challenge, let's be honest. It's not a small account. I started the account at 30,000 because I wanted to try to redo what I did before, but faster, and see if, what I've learned so far, in a sense. And, so that account actually right now is at 78,000. So I also have daily affirmations that I like to read. I have goals for the account, which I short-term goal for the year is 100, mid goal is 250,000, and then at the end of the year I want to shoot for that million again or more, which now I think I could easily, because I'm almost at 100,000 already, and with more size, more shares, I have goals I've achieved, and just that's pretty much it. I want to put more stuff on it.
Exactly. I figured it was stock related, and so that's why I just wanted to ask that question. That's that sports analyst coming back into me. I'm like, to let other traders know what you're even still doing daily, so that you're still putting those goals. It's not like hey, I'm making money now and I can just do what I want to do. You're still setting that precedent and still setting goal. I love Michael Jordan. Back to my Michael Jordan. Or hey, we love Transformers. Back to Optimus Primes of the world.
Yes,
you
exactly.
get my point. You're always there's always room to grow. You're always so on. I'm not going to get into it all, but I figured that's what it was, so I wanted to ask real quick. All right, so let's get into it now. Secondly, now I get this question a lot. So now we know your background, where you're from, how you got into stock trading. Tell me more about really about yourself as far as what you're looking for. As you talked about, you're up earlier and earlier and earlier now, and I kind of agree with you. If you want to get short locates, especially at a cheaper price, you got to get up earlier. So what are we looking for each and every morning? What setups are we kind of looking for before the day even starts? And are we trading pre-market? Essentially, give me your kind of pre-market to opening bell analysis of what you're doing every day.
So I almost never trade pre-market because I have horrible luck with pre-market. Never trade it. I just don't. I can't get a win off pre-market. It's so weird. But
I'm right there. Don't worry. I'm right there with you. And everyone asks me that. I am not a pre-market trader. 99.9% of my trade, I don't even trade after hours. It's like 99.9% of my trades are in market hours. That's just when I get my trades.
Yeah, but okay. So first things first here. Let's get straight to it. So I have my home monitor set up, so I'm always looking around here. But main broker I use is E-Trade because I've had great luck with their customer service, and two, I've never had problems going long. I've had a lot of problems trying to go short. So I keep E-Trade more for the long. Sometimes I'll short if I can catch, but main shorting broker has been Lightspeed, but I'm slowly transferring either to Centerpoint, Cobra Trading, or Speed Trader. I was researching a couple of them just to see. But first thing in the morning is I have trade ideas up here on the left. I have volume leaders, biggest gainers percentage, unusual activity scanner, and a up gap scanner. And then I'm just looking at those. I don't really look at let's say news that comes out really, because I found that before. I just have one email made for news, which is a old video of Jack. I don't even know if that still exists now, where he said, make an email that you don't care about and just sign up for a bunch of these things that'll send you press releases in the morning. I would go through that, and then over time I just found
Bro, I
out
know. I still
usually
get
those
some that
just
I'm
end
like,
up
I got to unsubscribe to this. Why am I getting
right.
this
Yeah,
thing?
exactly. Yeah. But it's like now I just look at the scanners that I have, and I also look on Twitter a lot because whatever people are talking about pumping on Twitter is what I want to short at the top. So yeah, I'll look at the volume leaders here, and then I'll pull it up on my chart. And first thing I'll check is, are we above the previous day high? Or are we below the previous day high? If we're above the previous day high, that tells me that we should still have momentum to continue higher before going down, or we can just close high as well. So we may not even have a short. The easiest shorts are when you're below the previous day high. So if you find a short below previous day high, try to find the top, and then of the intraday on that ticker, and then your risk essentially would be to look for anything that is below the previous day high. That's just the biggest key for me. I just want to emphasize that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good job there. That's exactly. So yeah, previous day high. That's the key, because that tells you more that okay, momentum's dead. So let's go down. They said they can't hear you. Okay.
Oh, okay. You heard me though, didn't you?
Yeah, I heard you.
That's weird. Sorry, my bad, team. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, every once in a while, that was my bad. Yeah, sorry, my bad. You're good. So
No worries.
what I was saying though, team, because we were teasing beforehand. You may have heard the conversation we had, but he told me he can't wait to go over short with AGRI. Then he just explained that strategy, and instantly in my head, as the whole the whole analyst in me, and then what you're doing, and now stock trader, I'm like, that's probably how we shorted AGRI today, and so that's awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
though. Go ahead, boss.
So yeah, like I said, that's the key for shorting for me. I look for there was another example here, but I threw that ticker away because I didn't like it too much. I even forgot about it. But yeah, ARGI, it was that example of we are below the previous day high, which is key for me, which tells us that we're on the backside of trading. So easier, it's just a lot easier to short. Previous day high or previous day close. It's a previous day high, not previous day close. That could be support or resistance depending on where you are, but previous day high. And so my strategy consists of SMAs, which I use the 8, 20, and the 50. I do also use VWAP, and on the daily, I have a daily chart. I have 60, 30, 15-minute charts, which I'll like go in and out of. I'll observe all time frames on that chart, which sits on my right. And then my main big old chart here, I'll have 3-minute and 5-minute. I don't use 1 minute and 2-minute anymore because I just feel like a lot of people that try to short, they'll short way too early thinking it's a top, but really it's just exhaustion, pullback, breakout, which screws up a lot of people. But let's say on the 15-minute, we were still squeezing shorts because my strategy focus on I want to go short when other shorters are getting squeezed.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
So
right.
when they're getting squeezed, that's when I get in because that's when they're stopping out and then buyers are taking profit, and then that's when I try to get in. But I also wait for a little bit of confirmation. And sorry,
Oh, you're good, boss. Yeah,
I
but no,
trade
that's what's
more
funny. I gotta get good at what you're good at there. Yeah,
water
get some
here.
liquid in, yeah. Because I was gonna say that I need to learn that because I that happens to me, and that's why I don't short tops. And I know a lot of the shorts already been had, but you see when I short, I know you know the shorts already been had. Shelf cracks, trend
Exactly.
line cracks, a lot of shorts already been
Yeah,
had. But I know then it's
exactly.
confirmation that more short is going to be had, and I go, hey, at least I know I'm gonna get part of some of the short. So I want
Exactly.
to, yeah, I just want to get, I need to get the top part now, like you do.
Yeah. Do you want to hop into the explanation here? Because I feel like this I can really explain a lot
Go
better.
right into it. Yeah, pulling on up.
Okay, how do I share here? It doesn't. Oh yeah. Okay, let me do it
Yeah,
here.
you're the host now. You should be able to share. Let me know if you
Okay,
can't.
okay, I got it now. Boom. Oh, let's just use. I still can't. Host disabled. That's what it says.
Let me get it up. Yeah, hold on. Let me buy participants. Make host. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay, let me find what screen here. This one, I'm pretty sure. Okay, can you see the screen here? Just to make sure.
We are rocking and rolling. Yep, that's so pretty. Is that E Trade?
Yeah, that's why I love E-Trade. I love their
I do like E Trade. Of course, you know I'm biased to my Thinkorswim, but that's why I like E Trade to start with because it is very pretty as well.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, it's so easy. So this short, let's get straight into this short is just awesome. So we have the previous day here, which I also marked in the daily chart. I marked the previous day high, and we were trading below it. And then I look for pre-market structures as well because I noticed they hold pretty good. So I was looking at pre-market structures here, and I was looking to see how it would react here. This was my main level here. I had a small level here that I only had because price, in a sense, on these last couple of candles before the open, couldn't close above it, only traded. But in the open here, we pushed up a lot, and I was waiting to see the confirmation, which I wait for a little bit of a pullback off these levels. And once we touched this 430 level, I saw the bid start to get smashed. And once the bid started getting smashed, I hopped in with them short, 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 which my short was around 425. I shorted more at around 417 as well. And then price popped back down, and then price again ended up closing higher. And then essentially after that, where my risk would be, I would have right now my stop loss right above this high of this candle here, because then I know once we broke this high, we should push higher. So with the stop loss at the high here, let me have another trick here.
Yeah, you're good, boss. Take your time.
Yeah, so with the stop loss at the high here, and my cost average around 422, because I shorted 425 and 417. I saw that we were making a reversal here. We're starting to push up green. We closed green, but we closed it at the middle range of this candle, which for me means buyers and sellers don't know what they want to do. And then I see a gap up here from candle to candle here. We see a gap up. We push up, and then we test this 20 SMA, and then the 20 SMA actually starts crossing under the 50 here, which tells me confirmation that we want to start pushing down. And then as we start pushing down here, I just leave my trade on, and that's when the big selling starts to happen. And mind you, that I'm looking at this on the 10-minute, but still observing it here from my 3-minute chart. But that's why I'm always looking at all charts, because I always want to see everything from different pictures. And then, yeah,
Hard is making sure they can hear me. But that's what I tell a lot of traders. If you want to do whatever you time frame you want to go with, whether you want to go with 1 and a 5, a 3 and whatever
yeah,
floats your boat and floats it right and keeps that money coming in,
exactly,
use it. I mean, and me was always a 1 and a 3 or 1 and a 5 when I want to use them. And same thing for you. What you use those for is because it's going to fake a lot of time in that 1 minute time frame. You're going to get faked out a lot early on, and so that 5-minute, 10 or 15-minute time frame is going to keep you in a trade a lot longer most of the time,
exactly,
and it's not going to fake you out a lot more.
exactly, 100%. Yeah, you're right. You're right, 100%. So yeah, like I was saying, and then we're trending under the 20 here, so that's confirmation that we're trading the backside here, and then we're also trading under the 8. That's more confirmation that the short term, the midterm, and the longer term trend is pushing down now. People are asking where I covered. I essentially covered in this 375, 371, and also some at 380, because this is a demand zone to me, which is a big drop, consolidation, a big pop. I call it demand zone because I feel that there's orders left over from the big pop, or you know. So then after that, we pop back into here. I see how we respected it once. I covered a little bit, come in twice, and then I see here that these two candles couldn't close, and then we had a huge drop down. And then once this huge drop down, I was looking at it, see how it started reacting. It started to pull back. It pulled back too quickly, so I marketed order out the rest. And this demand zone was where this pop up came back from. And from this pop up, you really could have caught another short here off the 50 SMA with also a candlestick pattern here, which would be I call it the inverted hammer, which would be this hammer here. You know how you use a hammer, there's a
Right?
top,
Yep. Yep.
there's
Oh,
stick
yeah.
on the bottom.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
it's the inverted hammer. We had an inverted hammer. We couldn't break above the high of the inverted hammer. You could short when the candle went green, I mean. uh, or red, I'm sorry, with the candle went red with a stop loss above the hammer candle. No, he just knowing that this day has obviously been downtrending here. You could put a trend line, but we
I was gonna say,
obviously
yeah,
know that
that's like
from
me and my double, triple whammies. I mean, you could put the downtrend line. I mean, there's so many like resistance areas that it hit right there.
yeah,
That would have been a great short again, even right there. Exactly.
yeah, exactly. But I saw someone saying here, how did I decide to cover was this demand zone here. This demand zone, I knew we'd have trouble around it, and I saw price start to react, so I just covered. And I usually market order out. I never limit order out, but continuing here. I'm trying to read some of the questions here. I
Yeah, I was
understand
gonna say, yeah, if
how
you want to go ahead and
you.
answer Harry Potter's, and I think there was one right above it with Schniz. Schniz was asking about the high pre-market. So if you want to go up to Schniz, you can answer Schniz if you want to.
So what I mean is just overall. So pre-market or just not pre-market. I want to see that the stock is trading below the previous day high. So it doesn't matter if it's pre-market or during the session. Anytime during the session that it crosses the previous day high, I just don't look to short more. I wait for it to exhaust a little bit, and then maybe I'll look for a short.
So that's what. And so just to reconfirm, all he's saying is if it's below the opening day, we don't want. And like me too, I don't want this. And I'll show. I'll put my. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I don't know if you can actually. Yeah, you can. I don't want this over this area, right? We get over this high of day or get over this. That's bullish. That's going to continue to run.
Exactly.
I'm going
Yeah.
to wait to get a short in. Wait for me and my. Wait for something to form and something to set up, and wait for it to exhaust, like Matt's talking about. Whether it's noon or 1, 2, it's power hour, because it's bullish. So we want it
Yeah.
to be below the high of right here from yesterday, essentially.
Of course, yes. And the 50 SMA I only added is I used to use it in the past a lot, but I took it off for a while and then I added it back because I see that it's almost like support resistance. Really, I've noticed it more like that. It is also trending, but it just takes so long, so it's more of a longer term trend. But it also for me mostly I use it for just bounces. Really, as you can see here, we bounce, we pop down, we bounce, we bounce. Here we traded sideways, but I use it for a lot for bounces because I feel like I see a lot of orders come in when I see that 50 SMA touch, and I also know that a lot of traders use it. So if they're using it,
Yeah, I used to use it as well. 100%. That was one of the ones I can go back to my old recaps on Instagram, and I have
yeah,
that was one of the ones. Because another thing, because Thinkorswim put it on for you. If you open up they kind of want, because main reason why a lot of traders use it, so they want you using what
exactly,
traders are using.
exactly, exactly, 100%. Let me get here to the next. Okay, demand zone. So demand zone is super simple to overcomplicate it a lot, but it's a big move down. Big move down, doesn't matter how many candles, but all you want to capture in this box are the basic candles, which is just sideways candles like this. And then you mark that, and then a big move out. I don't look at too much at volume here, but if you look here from the basing candles, low volume, low volume, low volume, and then we have a volume spike up to almost 2 million just off this one candle here. So that's what the demand zone is for me right there. I use it with supply, which is the top. The opposite as well, which is the same exact concept. You want to see the volume out and you want to see the volume in. So the volume in here was high volume, which is 1 million, which is what I like to look at, above 1 million or around that 1 million mark. And then the volume out, which is leaving, was a lot more than the volume inside, which shows that a lot of buyers really came in here. So there has to be orders here, which could be either stop out orders or shorts covering close to their entries or whatever it is. There's just a lot of buy orders. So I know that there could be a bounce. And something about demand is it doesn't work, or it does work, and it can work more than one time. So demand, it bounced off. So really, I could expect it to pierce in a little deeper and maybe go up again.
Right, and then
And
that would be comes back to me where I'd be going, boy, crack that bottom of that area, and it's
yeah, it's
going
gone.
down some more, and I'm gonna get a good short in.
Exactly, 100%. This platform is E-Trade. And how many shares are you typically trading? Do you scale it? I always scale it to scale out. Always. It's awesome. I just love how it is because I don't care about the perfect entry. I just care about how far down I can take it. And it depends on shares here. For a $4, I'd say I don't trade anything under like $3 because I don't like it too much. But from anywhere $4 and above, it could be up to 100,000 shares. Like it's just, or it could be 50,000, 25,000, but it could be anywhere in that range there. So yes, I do get in trouble when volume starts to sink a little because then I start getting out, the market starts to pump. But yeah, anything over a million in volume that is still trading over a million, I'm not too worried about that because I won't trade too many. But yeah, scaling in, scaling out. That's the best way for me to do it because of how many shares. And I want to show you guys another trade here actually as well, Netflix, because I also did play with this a little. Oh yeah, that's scary here. Just a bunch of lines on here. All my lines disappeared, but that's okay.
It's all right. We that used to be a guy in chat. I don't think it was right before. Maybe, I don't know if he was around. It was Jeff Acito Pop is Short King, and then it was Jeff Forex when he first showed up. But it was right around when you were on. I think you were on Arnold Trader. You were here because you were on Arnold Trader. But he was just like that. He would have line, and then when I went live on Fridays, like, all right, let's see how many lines you got in today. But it definitely helps out, especially over time. And I can't wait to go into one. I forgot to bring up actually KAVL that popped up earlier. I was in my session earlier, and I see it literally KAVL came down to 130, 3-ish, 135 earlier this morning, or I should say yesterday into this morning. Then that's where it popped back up. I had a green line in all the way back. It was set in on February the 7th that I've kept in, and it literally came down to that green line. Kind of forgot all about it, and boom, off that green line today, up to $2+ I'm like, oh my god, how crazy is that? That's why I say keep your lines in.
Exactly. I believe that a lot. Keep your lines in until they're invalid in the sense of prices start to just do this around it. So then I take it off. But if it's still doing like a little bit of up and downs around it, then I'll keep it on because there's still some reaction off there. So yeah, I 100% believe in that. But let's get to this one here. So first things first here, I noticed here we're in a downtrend, but we've been red and we've been pushing down for way too long. I expected a bounce. We had a gap up also. When we gap up, essentially what we're going to do is fill the gap and then push up higher, which is what we did. So we gapped up, we pushed down. We didn't fill the gap. We pushed down to try and fill the gap, and then we pushed up higher. And then I have my 3-minute chart here. The initial push up here. This was when I had it in my radar or on my eyes. Just was keeping an eye out on it. And then I marked 2 types of support resistance. I marked the top, which would be here, and I also marked places, an area or just a general area where price couldn't close above, which we traded above, couldn't close, traded above, couldn't close, open, couldn't close, traded above, couldn't close, couldn't close, couldn't close, or couldn't even trade above. So I know, that's resistance. And then,
and when I want to go back to candle or guys, my candle confirmation lesson. I know Matt, you're not around. You do, but the same kind of thing, right? It's the same thing I always say. Put it with the top of the candle. If those wicks are, whatever you call them, are large enough. Put it with where you couldn't close at and open over at, and that is going to be the other area that you have to deal with.
Exactly, 100%. So yeah, my bias here was a long and then end of the day short, which is pretty much what I did because I know we're still in a downtrend. So whether the hedge funds or big bankers, they're just going to push it up to try and get a short to push it down. That's my mindset. And then we made a higher low here, and then SMA started to curl up. They started to curl up. We crossed above the VWAP. We're trading above the 8. I gave it a chance here on this big green candle. I bought before the breakout. I always buy before, a little bit before. It gives me that space just in case it's a fake out to get out. I bought before the breakout, which I think was like 335.06, something like that. I don't remember too well. And then it started to trade above, and then this candle here. So because Netflix is a little weird, it's not really. It's like this. It's not like one, and then it starts pushing up. It's weird. It'll jump like 30 cents, and then jump down 30 cents, and then jump up $1. So it's like super crazy because the spread is just insane. But
and that's what I tell traders when they see that movement where it's like boom. I was like, that's the spread. That's why. Like if you instantaneously see a stock go say 31.10, 31.30, 31.10, 31.30.
It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. And then we started to break out. I left the trade in. And I wasn't too worried about this resistance, just recent beat. If you look at the past, let me take this off. There. If you look at the past, it didn't really, it didn't resist too much at that area here. But what I did mark at resistance was a little bit above it, which was an area up here where we could have closed above. And I also marked again, which is that same concept, the high and the area where it could have closed above. So I had this almost as a zone here. And I was long. I exited half my position. Once this green candle started to pull back hard, which I saw the bid start to get crushed again, I exited. And then I left the rest of my trade with the stop under the parabolic move, which would be this green candle, under this low here, which is where I would leave the stop because that's where everyone else would usually leave their stop if they were buying. And we never traded below. We had another leg on up here. And then my next target-ish area was these wicks area. Let me move this line, delete this here real quick. And then that's the VWAP going crazy, never mind. But we had a low here that we broke below, and then we pushed up. We couldn't go above, couldn't go above. So I just knew this was a key level here. So I just put a limit order. Yeah. No, no worries, no worries, no
Yes,
worries.
but that's what it is. I mean, it's all it is like, and Deck always taught it. Old resistance equals new support, or vice versa, whatever
Exactly.
it is. It's
It's
just
the key.
right. It's a quick little sandwich.
Yeah, and I did get out early, but so I put that order in. I just put a limit order to get out. I ran to the bathroom because I had to blow my nose, and I got out, and then I saw how much higher it
Got to
went
keep
because
those
I don't
tissues on the
usually get
desk now.
out,
We got to keep those tissues on the desk now.
right? So I usually wait to see how it reacts. It, as you can see here, it just blew through that. So and then I came back to the desk a little bit later, and then I saw it start to consolidate here, which were more levels here. Let me actually see if I could mark them here because my levels deleted. So I had this marked, I had that marked, I had that area marked here.
Just want to let you know I love seeing this on Auto Trader. But team, does this not remind you? This is what I'm doing all day, every day, right? And this is what top traders are doing. So I love seeing this. I get to see the first interview. So now I see this. I'm like, yes, all right, okay. I'm not the only one doing this here. Dang it, I
Yeah,
love it. So and it's using that daily is huge.
exactly, 100%. It just gives you the bias for the whole day, and it's good to guess. I like guessing a little bit on the daily chart. For example, previous day here, right when it opened, I would look at it and I'd be like, okay, where's the downtrend? I'm guessing that price is going to push up a little bit and sink down and maybe pull back a little bit at the end of the day because sellers are obviously in control because we have an overall downtrend, which I have a whole thing for that, which I'll actually go over another day because that's a whole other thing. It's, I call it my DPAUs. I'll go
I
over
like
that
that. I
later.
like that. See, you can come up with your own little things like sandwich and all the little things I come up with. There you go.
Yeah, which is like I try to guess the next daily candle the night before, and
And let me tell you this. Let me ask you because I bet just real quick little interview
uh,
on my question. Is that
no worries.
mostly because I ask a lot of people get this from me? Does that most likely come from you just doing this from year in year out now for so
Yeah,
long?
pretty much.
Seeing
Yeah.
all the other tickers do what they've done before, and you just kind of remember what this setup's most likely going to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it is. Pretty much just experience. That's like people ask, how do you read level two? How do you read the tape? It's like it's just experience, honestly. It's YouTube videos help. A lot of have helped me, but it's really just experience. It just over time you start seeing the little clues that they leave behind.
And overall, what that experience, which I tell traders over time, that builds confidence, your discipline, all
Exactly.
those keywords you lack, patience, all these keywords we talk about, getting that experience in, getting out in the field and actually getting the work in, whatever job you want to talk about, but it's actually getting the, like you said, getting in there and getting the work done. That's when you get the
100%.
experience in. It
100%.
grows over time.
Yeah. So continue on with this trade here real quick because this is the juicy part here. So I had these levels up here. I actually had shorted, not right at this level. I shorted a little bit lower at around 342.05, point oh six, something like that. So I shorted when it started pulling back from the level. Price rose again. My stop loss was just above, a little bit above this level, because I knew that if we just continued, the bulls obviously took over. But the next candle, it showed weakness up here. It just pushed up. Hold on one second.
You're good,
It
boss.
was every time we just try to push up and break 334 or 344.17. Push up, try to break, push up, try to break, push up. And then eventually I was like, okay, there's obviously big sellers there headed. So I just let it go. And we saw this big gap candle that I was like, oh, that's crazy. And we gapped out, trying to push. And then again, looking at the times and sales, I saw this area right here where price just traded below, couldn't break, traded below, couldn't break, which I don't know if this is a shelf, but
That's my shelf, baby. That's the shelf, baby. That's my shelf. I'm like, there's my shelf. I'm like, oh, I'm reeking for that short right there.
And you could add more stuff to it, which I saw higher low or lower highs. I mean, lower high, lower high, lower high. So, and then every pop up, I just averaged it more, averaged it more. And once that breakout came, I I kept holding. And then on this green candle here, it scared me a little bit because it pushed up really quick. So it pushed up quick. And then I was like, okay, let's get out with 25%. So I got out 25% of my size. And then I got out and I let the rest go. And I said, okay, I will risk break even, but I'll let the rest go. I let the rest go. And again, going over 820 SMA here. As you can see, once we started to push below here, the 8 was above. We pulled back. The 8 started to start crossing in a sense. So these pullbacks is just it's weird to explain, but that pullback, all it was the 20 pull it a little bit higher, 8 pull it a little bit lower, and then this next pullback or this next red candle here from the pullback, all it did was just push that SMA 8 down, confirmation of a downtrend, and then we started to trade below it, trade below it. I held it on. I keep holding my trades until the 20 gets blown through. If I'm looking for a big old like catch the whole move type of trade, and I kept holding on it because as you can see here, we pushed above the 8. Holding on it. I exited some at VWAP because the VWAP actually had a big bounce, and then eventually just straight through it. I exited 50% of my position there at the VWAP. I let the rest go here, and then, oh wait, who would have figured that the level that we played for the breakout is literally the bottom of
What we
the
talking about? Old
reversal?
resistance equals what? New
Exactly,
support.
support. Yeah, exactly. And then I just exited my full position in the 386 or not 336.74 area, which, like I said, I always wait for the reaction. I want to see price really bounce off it a little bit. Level 2, I use level 2 every day. Like that's the key factor for me. Level 2 tape reading. If you don't know how to read tape, how to read level 2, it's just gonna make it so much harder because that gives you a huge edge. How much room do you give? So it's not necessarily how much room, it's just when the trade doesn't look like it should work anymore. In the sense of this short here, we started pushing up this green candle here with momentum here. And then I told myself, above here, 344.42, which was a resistance area. If we push above that, I'm just gonna get out and I'll short much higher. But we couldn't even push above 344.18, which tells me sellers are strong there. And then this candle turned red very quickly. I believe reversals of candles reversed really quickly, pushed down, and the next candle opened gap down. So I was like, okay, yeah, we obviously have sellers here. I started to see the consolidation for me. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens here. I saw that we had support here, strong support, because really price tried, but it couldn't. You can see that in the tape. Every time it dipped a little bit below, orders came in quick, pushing the ask above. And we pushed up here. We had a gap candle up here, up, and on this gap candle up that did scare me here a little bit because I was like, okay, maybe we're just gonna push the breakout above. But then I waited for the reaction, which the gap candle, once it pushed up, it had a little wick above it, boom, straight down. I was like, okay, straight down. Okay, yeah, no, sellers are definitely in control here. I shorted some more, came back down. This area still couldn't break, pushed up this big quick spike again, big quick spike. Once it started to retrace a little bit, I shorted more, and boom, which usually happens, third touch breakout. 1, 2, 3, breakout. And that's how that happened pretty much.
And I'd say a lot of the time, like it sounds like me, you pretty much not rely, well, anyway, I guess you do, but pretty much, of course, the level 2, but you just say, instead of like, what's your room, what's your stop loss, the chart tells you the stop loss.
Exactly. It does. I don't like putting limit order stop losses or stop limits or, I like putting that because I feel like you could really you can tell kind of. So it's like you wanted to give it the extra wiggle room, still having discipline, of course. But like sometimes I'll notice that it would have, if I had a limit order, it would have hit my limit order, it took me out. But it would have hit my limit order, took me out of the trade. But if I had waited that one extra 2 cents, it would have came back. So also looking at the level 2 here, because if it hits my stop loss area, but level 2 is still like we're still crushing that ass, still orders coming in fast, then I'll get out of it, take the loss.
Speak you but,
no worries.
But yeah,
no
that's what I tell a lot of traders. That's where you really want to look at the level 2. It's not like you're in the middle of a trade and it's you're heading in your direction. Oh, I gotta look at the level 2 still. The crucial times look at your level 2. The most crucial times your entry area and then your stop loss area. That's, and of course your exits you want to kind of check it there. But that stop loss is huge. Like you were saying, I mean, you can go to your stop loss area and then look at the level 2 and go, yeah, we're good here.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. No, I agree with that. And yeah, that was pretty much that trade for me. And then after that, I just called it a day. It's a little sick, so I just like.
Do you do that a lot of the day? Like that's me a lot of the time too. And I don't know how often do you get trades. And that's another question, and we'll get to a few more. But how
Usually
many trades do you average, or kind of like me?
lot.
Does the day tell it really how many trades you're going to get? Some days it may be 2. Some days it could be 10.
Yeah, so it really tells me. It depends on the day, but if the day's hot, I like 5, 10 trades. And what I mean 5, 10 is without the ads and stuff, because I usually add as it pops up and keeps trending down. So yeah, like 5, 10 trades on a really, really crazy day. But if not, like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 trades, and like that one trade will just be enough for me because the day's kind of slow. But yeah.
And so overall, you would probably say, do you think you're maybe wrapping it up most days by noon to 1 or even earlier? Or what? I mean, are you trading all day? I mean, what's the average day, honestly, for you for trading?
It's kind of crazy, but if I'm like not sick at all, I'll go from 7 to 4. I just stay here the whole day.
I love it.
Because a lot of people don't know, but lunch hours has opportunities too. Like I've noticed the past couple of weeks that lunch hours stocks have been going up. You know, they have, and you can either catch the short.
Commentary. It's like as soon as I go live, I'm like, man, I thought it'd be slow today, and I get into a lesson maybe, and here we, where it's almost like we're off to the races again at lunch hours.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want to tell a lot of traders, and I'm sure you agree as well. Don't ever limit like, oh, it's lunch hours, oh, it's Friday. There's always going to be plays to be had. You just got to find 100%, and attack your setup.
How you find Netflix short? I didn't really find it. It was almost I just out of all the fags, Netflix is my favorite. That's pretty much it with it. I love Netflix. It's so easy just to read. For me personally, like POV Joshua, I know his is Tesla, mine is Netflix. You know,
I was gonna say, and mine lately has been AMD. But yeah, literally, it's like you find one that you just this moves so beautifully. I can just see the pattern so pretty. Right? It's like you're in the Matrix almost.
Exactly. That's literally what it is for me. I was like, let's check out Netflix real quick. And it was like, so the day was slow. I was like, let's check out Netflix real quick.
How do you think overall, for the most part, how many setups? Now I know, because honestly for me, I'd say there's probably, because bounce plays can come in a array of different ways. So bounce plays, and I've got my shelves, my trend line cracks. Those are what I go for. Those are probably the 3 setups I know I go for in attack daily. And of course, kind of like I said, the bounce plays that can come in an array of different ways. What are the 3 or 4 you're always looking for daily to attack? It looks like you use that 8 and 20 a lot. I used to use a 50 with it. But what are the 2 or 3, 4 setups you're looking for daily to kind of use in attack?
It's weird to explain, but it's not really like a setup in a sense. It's more like I know that the momentum is dying. When it's a short, I know like momentum's about to die here. Like it's got to be over here. Large cap. A quick question here. Large cap is easier than penny stocks. It really depends. Large cap has been easier, but penny stocks you can make more a lot easier. So so it's like it depends on what you're trying to do. And another example here that I want to show, HYMC. I didn't take this trade, but it was in my list. I totally forgot about it. But as you can see here, we obviously, traded above the previous day high, which I say, you could, I'll put this pre-market on here. Boom. There you go. So in pre-market here, it was just a sideways action here and doing what people call accumulation, which I actually learned on Twitter, but or just a wedge pattern, whatever you want to call it here. And I just totally missed it. I totally forgot about it, I was just dumb. I just totally forgot about it. I was focused on AGRI so much, which was a beautiful short. I didn't look at it at all. It's like, because I figured I just figured this would happen because we were just struggling so much in pre-market to hold above 282. And then right as market opened here, we just had a little tick up and then straight down action. So I was like, okay, that's the trend for the day. It's over.
Yeah, that's what I got. That was my only trade of the day, and that was what I learned was early on was that crack right there, the trend line crack, and then the crack of that kind of 250-ish area. When it cracked both of those together at the same time, if they did, it was going to completely collapse, and it did pretty much right off the bat. I was like, okay, here we go. So that was
awesome. Was a really good trade. That was a really good trade. That was a really good trade. And like I said, which shorted the pops here, had a pop on up, short the pop. Had a pop on up, short the pop. So I'm always shorting recovery, but I'm keeping my initial position still. But I'm just always getting that realized gain.
Right, so you get the initial entry, and then it's scale out some, add a little bit more. Scale out some, add a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. No worries.
And I didn't. My bad. Thank you, Sean. I'm always muting myself so I don't start talking over him. All right, so you got the next 5 to 10 minutes. He's already been talking for an hour. I don't want to keep Matt forever because, of course, the throat. He's not feeling. He's feeling pretty good because he's banking today. But next 5 to 10 minutes here, open the floor up, teams, and he'll read the questions, and so I don't have to read them out. I know Matt, you can see them. So if you have anything for living like Matt, go ahead and shoot the questions out right now.
I'll answer them
5 to 10 minutes, too. And I'll close up shop after that.
Help you guys out here. Have you ever? I enter usually market orders. But I do enter a lot of limit orders for both long and short because I scale in. Let's see, you are mostly trading. Nah, I trade every stock, small, mid caps, large caps. I trade everything. So basically a core position, Kung Fu. I didn't understand that one 100%. This is a big question here. when you run 8 and 20 SMA, what time frames are your favorite for shorty? It's like, so 8 and 20 SMA, forget time frames because that doesn't matter at all. Time frame is just going to tell you how long your trade is going to last. That's all. But 8 and 20 SMA, I use on every time frame except the daily because um, I used the daily in the past. I might bring it back a little bit, but it's just I'll take it off a little bit, take it on. It's like a refresher type of thing. What favorite time frames for shorting would be the 15-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute. I'm looking at everything. Researching before I don't really do any research after market close unless there's a stock that's been going crazy for the for the week. But I usually research the morning of, and I'll look through Twitter. I have my scanners here. I'm looking through everything and just doing my analysis on it, which would be where's the stock today, where was the stock yesterday, what are the levels, all that stuff. Explain accumulation conditions. Okay, here's a good question here. So can they still see my screen or no? AK, can they still see my screen?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're
Okay.
still rocking and rolling, but yeah, still same screen. Yes, sir.
Okay, so for me, I consider exhaustion. This is exhaustion here. So push up, push up, push up. No basic candles. Push up, push up. First red candle. That's telling me that the stock's getting exhausted. So I like to look for big green candles with either closes at like their top third. So I look for closes more than top third, which is telling me that there's bullish, 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 bullish. And it's like I'm losing breath. So I gotta breathe, which is what happened here. So it's like bullish, 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 bullish. No really basic candle. This is a little candle that closed in the middle third, is just basic.
So essentially, that first red candle is what you're talking about. That's where it's starting to get exhausted, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So you could have shorted either here or waited until it breaks below. But anywhere where I see this candle after a huge move up like that, I'm shorting that area. And where does your stop go? Honestly, it really just depends a little bit of how the stock is, which in this sense, as you can see, it pushed above that. But then you saw again another big bearish candle here, which then led to the short. So that's what exhaustion is to me, just big green candle. Not even huge, just candles that are close to their high of candle that are just pushing higher and higher and higher with no basic candles at all. Why, when you were saying you kept shorting covering, but you still keep your first entry? So holding your first entry to get the big move, but you trade around it. So what I'm doing is, let's use this as an example, even though I didn't trade it. If I were to go short on this, let's leave it conservative, not make me look crazy good. But let's say I shorted at 260 for some reason, right? This thing's popping on down. I would have covered a little bit on here, being realistic, and would have let it go down, let it go down. I would have covered more here, close to this 210 area, push down, push down. After this green candle, this big bullish green candle, I would have shorted on the touch of the 8 SMA, short, 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 short. I would have probably covered this big candle right here with this big old wick. I would have covered as it pulled back, showing that the ask was getting blown through. And that's what I mean, again, big bullish candle here, basing. I would have shorted on the basing area and then covered on the bottoms. Let's see here. Do you use deck pre-market newsletter? I don't use any of that. I've never really used it. Not because I just never really got it. I never really signed up for it. I have my own scanner. Yes, I used to use a scanner. I'd hop in the morning and just stare at it. But yeah, now I have my own scanner here. And how do you scan market? I don't know what you mean exactly by that, but I'm looking more for news. I want to see what type of news it has. I'm looking for what the stock did in the past. I'm looking for levels. I'm looking for the trend. I'm looking for, is it above or below the previous day high? Stuff like that.
I was gonna say because I get that a lot. Because they're like, where do you find your plays essentially for the most part? Do you use the scanners quite often? Like something's popping up,
Oh, yeah.
at say 10:30, all of a sudden something's popping up. Oh, what do you use? Before I know, which I know you're looking at stuff that's already been moving. Your favorite runners, kind of like, of course, you
Yeah.
just went over with Netflix. But what else are we looking at also? Like, where are we finding our plays?
A big thing also is like this. So let's say stock ABC on Monday spiked up 100%. Tuesday spiked up another 100% or another 50%. Wednesday, I still have that stock in mind because I know eventually it's got to go down. So I have stocks from last week that popped up a lot, but still haven't gone down to an area where I think is where it should stay. I'm still looking at that stock, looking for, let's say, big volume push to come in, push it up and short it back down. So I'm looking at stocks that have already happened to short it now, to short the backside.
Last couple of questions here. We got one from Paula there. A couple more though, Matt, that they want to take there. Give it a couple more minutes on the questions, guys. So go with Paula's there if you want to, Matt.
Okay. What is the perfect volume? Oof, that's a hard question. I'd say depends on your size, really. Because if you're playing small, you can play with less volume, you know. But for me, I try to look over 1 million. I try my best to do over 1 million. Yeah. Sometimes maybe I'll play with that 700,000, 800,000, 100,000 range, but I just get stuck in those sometimes. But yeah, that's the word. That's the perfect word for them. What they're called, multi-day runners. That's I look for day two gappers, day one gappers, multi-day runners. Just I put my eggs around that basket of things. So volume, yeah, I keep it over 1 million, I'd say on average. You're an Apple short. I'll do a quick analysis on it. Let's see here. So we have a hammer, inverted hammer pattern. We're after a big exhaustion down, which is a big push down. So being bullish today was obvious. If we look to the left here, it looks like we couldn't trade below the previous day close, and we are at an area of where I would call demand because there's a basic candle here, and after this basic candle, there's just huge momentum up. So I call this demand. And then, so that explains the bull move here. But you said you are short. Depending on if you're short between that 154 to 154.50 area, I'd say you're good to go until the 3-minute 50 SMA, which we're about to hit. This low here, you should have some problems breaking below 153.20-ish area. And then the VWAP, of course. Let's look at the 10-minute here. Because right now we're making lower highs of the 3-minute. So yeah, I'd say you should struggle around this area here. This 20 SMA is coming up top. But your short should be good to go for now. Yeah, should be good to go for now. It should continue to move here. And we're breaking below that 50 like it's nothing. So yeah, we should continue to go to 153-ish area, I'd say. We should struggle a little bit here, yeah. But yeah, that does a good short there.
Matt, seriously, man, thank you so much. Team, I don't think there's any really last questions, but I appreciate you so much for coming over here. Like I said, I don't really have anything last for you for the most part. We'll get you on. I definitely would love to get round 3 on it. I guess it'd be the only thing. Are you going to start live streaming at some point in time? Is it going to be a daily thing, or what?
I'm shooting for April. Maybe I'm shooting for April, mid-April, middle of the month there. I'm shooting the stream there.
Sweet, and it's going to be all day, every day, kind of like with Deck, or just at certain times? What are you planning on doing?
Like 2 to 4.
Oh, nice.
2 to 4 type of thing. Yeah.
Sweet, yeah. So, I'm gonna start doing the whole because I've been wanting to do it for a while, so I'm gonna up the ante starting in April. So we'll have 2 live stream all day. I didn't know if you were gonna do the all day thing, but I'm gonna try to start doing all day every day for the most part. And that's what I love it, man. Love you getting in. Vector Trader does it too every once in a while. POV, but yeah, having you, especially you and POV. If y'all just do it every once in a while, just having you stone cold, killers out there, Matty Ice. I know, obviously, you guys, these guys in chat. The reason why they come over. You're very successful. You're very informative. You have very good strategies and styles to be looking for. You're very nice and humble as well. And you're young, and so a lot of people, hey, if he can do it, you know what I mean. I can do it. So
exactly, 100%.
So you're just awesome to see, and the growth that your smart little young ass still has to do. I mean, I can't imagine when you're half my age. Imagine when I can't even imagine right now, team, what he's gonna be doing when he's my age. I'm just like, my mind's blown.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh man,
thank you very much.
I appreciate it, man. Well, thank you so much for coming over here.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Go ahead, if you want to, I'll go ahead and we kind of sign off if you want to, and you can call it the rest of the day. I'll leave the chat and we can kind of end it right here, and I'll text you later if you just to say thank you again. But again, thank you so much. I know, as you can tell, everyone in chat is very appreciative of you coming over today, and I
thank you for having me.
To have you as my first interview doing this, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Of course, thank you, and thank you, everyone. All I want to say is just keep going, don't give up, and feel free to ask me questions. It takes some time to get through them, but I'll always answer them. and just keep trading. Got to get that experience in. That's
Exactly,
pretty
get
much
that
all it is.
experience in, and now like I said, like I said, we'll get. I want to get round 3 in at some point in time too, so
Of
we'll get
course,
you in
yes.
again for sure, and it'll be when I'm going live all day, every day, and I know when you're going live, so we can have 2 live traders. I love doing this, so thank you again, Matt. Have a good rest of your day, boss, and I'll hit you up later.
Thank you.
Thanks, bub. There you go, team.